let's start recording. Okay. Let's see if this ever hit the max. Alright, let's do something good today. Okay, so I'm gonna start this way. Where are we? What the hell? Alright, so I'm gonna start with the classes, these interfaces. I already have them set up. So let's go to Rayton. I'm gonna find this bit and maybe just copy the innards if I can. Well, can't. But somehow it wants me to always. So let's have enum. Okay, the enum is gonna be payment terms. And terms. Is it? Ratings is not that. It's customer ratings. Customer rating. Correct. And that enum is gonna be good. Good. Acceptable. And poor. Correct. Acceptable, poor, and we're gonna have customer ratings is just gonna be let's do a get customer rating, accept that. It's gonna take a string of customer ID. So the customer ID provides us with the ratings of the customer. Alright, so I'm tugging on my Y here, so I have to be sure there is no problem listening. Something is actually doing the tugging for me, and I don't like it. So, I don't know what this is, but it doesn't feel right. Okay, hopefully that does not become a nuisance. Yeah, I am not having a good time with this right now, but whatever. Okay, let's go back to that. Alright. Okay, so the next is the contract API. Contract API. Here we're going to have an enum as well, and that enum is just going to be what? Payment terms. Payment terms is going to have a net 30, and we're going to have a net maybe at 60 this time. We're going to have then end of month. Is that it? End of month. End of month. We're going to have due on receipt. Receipt. Correct. Right. And then I'm going to have the ratings. Oh, payment terms, sorry. Payment terms. Get terms. Or get payment terms, whatever. This is going to be based on the customer ID as well. So I'm going to have a string. Customer ID. Man, this is not good for me. This keyboard. Good. And the next is going to be approvals. Look for approval API. They're basically going to have the same thing. We're going to have an enum here. Enum is going to be status. And the status is going to be of one of these types. It's going to be approved, pending, approved, or need a record, and that record is gonna be what? Approval. What is it gonna have inside it? It's gonna have a string, an ID, a status, correct, and what? Status of status. Where am I looking at? And that's it. Okay, and then next it will be an approval. It's gonna be create approval, and that approval is created based on a create approval request. Just gonna call it request like that. Cool. And we have an optional, and that optional is going to be of type approval from this API. It's going to be get optional approval by whatever ID. It's going to be a string approval ID. If you see me wait, is because I'm waiting for it to kind of like see if you could think for me. Oh, but nope, it is not doing that. So that's a lengthy class or interface. We could create, I don't know if we could do this, but I think we should be able to create a class. I don't know what this is gonna be like. No, it's gonna be a create. It's gonna be a class. Of this type, so that it doesn't scream at me. Correct? You see that? Now that error is done. This little error here is gone. Cool. Now the next one is the billing interface. Billing interface. I don't know. It's gonna be an enum as well. Gonna have an enum. Is gonna have a status, and that status is gonna be accepted. Is it accepted? It says accepted or rejected. Correct. And here we're going to have a record. That record is going to be submit invoice. Bro, I'm looking at my keyboard like I've never looked at my keyboard before. Receipt request, and we're going to have another record. That record is going to be billing response. It's going to take a status. I don't know. It's going to take a status, and it's going to get a string of invoice ID, and it's going to get a string of error. I don't know why we have an error here. This is not Go, is it? Cool. And we're going to have a billing response. Tap here. It's going to be submit. It's going to take a billing request, I believe. A submit request. This is crazy. And invoice request. And that, okay, is going to be a request. Cool. to the last line. That will be terrific. Terrific. Cool. All right. I think that's most of it. All right. Just to reiterate, are we done with the setup? Can we get to the rest of the book now? No, it gets worse. To show how data-oriented programming works in real life, we need all the pre-existing stuff that makes programming hard. We need a database, or databases, and entities, and ORMs, and most terrifying of all, prior decisions. Ugh. Okay. 513. A bunch of prior decisions designed around free. Around free. I don't know. Maybe it means something. Around free. I don't know. Keeping with the term of design choices already made. Keeping with the theme of design choices already made. The existing application will be built around a core set of identity objects. Popular frameworks encourage this style of modeling, if not directly, then as a consequence of making it easy to do so. A few magical annotations can turn any identity object into a database model. So if you do like an @entity in Spring Boot, that turns an identity object into a model that a database can be able to just persist. A few more can send the same object out to the world as JSON, like data, I guess. Once you've got that power at your fingertips, it can be tough to resist. Thus, entire application end up built around just a few objects: the invoice, the customer. So someone, not us, picked up these nouns, right? So you have this class called customer. The system shall charge customer on past due invoices. So you have this invoice class here with an ID number. The customer must be manually approved to charge the fees. Still pointing at the customer, so you have the customer ID, you have the approval ID. The system shall charge configurable rules. So you have this rules class, and then the configurable, the -- configurable -- or %, based on the country code. So you have class fee by country, it has a country code. Fee %. These nouns get turned into identity object. Identity object are objects that are not constant, they move about. And some magical annotation libraries handles mapping them into and out of the database. So you have like that, yeah. So entity maps to a database. I believe, yeah. Then you have an ID. This annotation ID is just like saying, hey, Spring handles the ID. I believe you have that. And then you have one to many, and many to many, all that, entity, whatever. That's cool. Hard modeling problems. Should a late fee invoice be modeled differently from a normal invoice? Okay, hard modeling problems will be handled in the way that ORMs makes easiest. Ignore them. Instead, we'll add enums and nullable fields to the canonical representation as needed. So you're like, you're gonna have this blah blah blah. I don't know if we should copy all this. Can we just copy this instead of me just writing all that? Yeah, well, no, I guess not. So let's go back to the invoice class. Do we even have an invoice class? Jeez, invoice. So we don't have an invoice class? Jesus almighty. Let's see what's here. So let's create touch invoice.java, and we're gonna have line item.java, and I'm gonna have auditable audit info.java. Right. Next we're gonna have the customer class.java. And now we have more classes.